What's up everyone, this is Wasim from the Tech Boys, and I have a battle between the Samsung Galaxy Note 2 and the Nokia Lumia 920. So both these devices are available on AT&T. The Note 2 is on almost every US carrier. Both of these devices are Samsung's and Nokia's latest flagship devices. And we're going to go ahead and put them head to head just to compare them. You might be in the market or shopping for a new phone, and you might be stuck between a Windows phone or the ginormous Note 2. So let's go ahead and start comparing them. We're going to start with the design and hardware. So first we're going to start off with the Note 2. So the Note 2 has a 5.5-inch HD Super AMOLED display with a resolution of 720 by 1280. And it's a big phone. I have a fairly big hand, so if you have smaller hands or you're not as tall, I'm 6 foot, so it's gonna be a little bit difficult to hold for some people. But it fits well in the hand. Thanks to this has curved edges, so it fits pretty comfortably for me. And it's made out of a full plastic material. We do have a physical home button as well as a back. A 1.9 megapixel front-facing camera, and the back you see an 8 megapixel camera with flash, your speaker, and of course the Note 2 wouldn't be a Note without the S Pen. So this is a redesigned S Pen from the previous Note, and it's a little bit bigger, so it's easier to grip, and a lot of new features included in the Note 2 that we'll go over in a few minutes. So overall, a good design. It's definitely not mind-blowing other than the size, but it's a typical Samsung device with plastic build material and using an AMOLED display. Now looking at the Lumia has a 4.5-inch PureMotion HD Plus display. So this is Nokia's own display that they've manufactured, and hands down it's probably the best display I've ever seen. Pixel density is extremely high, over 330 ppi. The resolution is 768 by 1280. So I mean, as far as quality on the display, I think it's highly superior over the Note 2. It's definitely not as big, but it's probably big enough for most people. So the phone comes in a lot of nice colors that you don't get with the Note. You have a red color as well as a cyan blue, yellow, white, and black. So the black and the blue are polycarbonate material. If you get the yellow, white, or red, it comes in a glossy plastic material. With the Note 2, it only comes in the gray and the white color. So Nokia's definitely giving you more options as far as colors. One thing to keep in mind is the Nokia, while the screen is not as big, is a little bit thicker than the Note 2. This one measures 10.7 millimeters, with the Note 2 is only 9 millimeters. So a little bit thinner on the Note 2, but again, this one is a little bit thicker. So again, the phone does feel very comfortable in the hand thanks to the even more curved edges than the Note 2. On the back is an 8.7 megapixel PureView camera with car's eyes lens, flash, 1.3 megapixel front-facing camera, and capacitive back, home, and search, as well as all your hardware buttons with the Lumia 920. So as far as design, I highly prefer the Lumia 920. It fits better in the hand. I feel like the build quality is much better, and honestly the display is much nicer than the Galaxy Note 2. Talking about specs, the Samsung Galaxy Note 2 has a 1.4 gigahertz quad-core Exynos chip, 2 gigabytes of RAM, and 16 gigs of storage with an optional micro SD card slot up to 64 gigs. The Nokia Lumia 920 has a 1.5 gigahertz Snapdragon dual-core processor, 1 gigabyte of RAM with 32 gigs of storage with no SD card. So you do get more memory built into the Lumia 920, but if you want to expand your memory, you won't be able to do that, but you can rely on cloud-based storage. Now we're going to talk about the software. The Note 2 is running Android 4.1 Jelly Bean with Samsung's TouchWiz user interface. The Lumia 920 is running Microsoft's new Windows 8 operating system. So these two operating systems are completely different. They work in a completely different way. There's really no similarities. While the Note 2 uses widgets and has these home screens, the Lumia 920 uses a tile style menu. So you add specific tiles and you can customize it by size, which is really cool. And if you swipe to the right, you get all the applications on the Lumia 920. Android's a little bit more customizable because you can move all the widgets around. You can also change the wallpapers, add launchers, and then more into like rooting. So a little bit more you can do on the Note 2, but just for casual use, I like the customization on Android over Windows Phone. With Windows Phone, of course, you can, like I said, do the tiles. Other than that, you're pretty much limited. You can also change the color theme with the 920. So here I have the red theme. You can change it to a whole other bunch of colors. And what's really nice about the Lumia 920 is the tiles are actually live. So they actually give off information while you're, scrolling or as you go through the day. So I have an Engadget widget that gives you, daily articles, or if I had my email, I also have a battery percent tile, so it gives you my battery. And of course you can put all the applications you like on this menu. The Note 2, very similar. I have a widget that gives off live information. Of course, you can do the same with email on here. Next, let's talk about performance. So both these guys have very powerful processors. So we're going to go ahead and test the speed. We're going to open the web on both phones. So we have the browsers both open on both devices. I haven't included any history. Both devices have visited the website before, so it should be a pretty even comparison. I'm going to go ahead and open phonearena.com just to test, speed of the browsers and how well the processors push that content onto the devices. And just make sure they're both over LTE. So both are on AT&T's network, so as far as data speed should be very comparable. And I'm just going to kick the Lumia off Wi-Fi just so it's fair. So we have Phone Arena queued up on both. I'm just going to hit the go button at the same time. And they're off. So they're both pulling up the content. It's pretty similar. So the Note 2 is finished. And the Lumia is still loading up. And the Lumia is now finished. So both are very good browsers. The Note 2 is definitely a little bit faster. As far as how the browser is smooth and how it performs, it's very similar. Both are really smooth as far as pinch to zoom and the orientation. So let me just enable that. So rotating it is very responsive. And let's go and show the Lumia. Again, very nice, very smooth. I don't know if you can tell by the video, but just the text looks much nicer on the Lumia 920 compared to the Note 2. Much crisper, colors come out a little bit nicer. But again, of course, you do see more information because of the bigger screen on the Note 2. So I want to talk a little bit more about the operating systems and what you get. Because this is an Android device, you just get a whole bunch of Google services. One thing I really like is called Google Now. What Google Now is, it gives you card-like views, and this can give off information like your favorite teams, your weather, recent events that's going on, and a whole other bunch of things. You can also ask Google for information, so it'll just speak to it, and then it will give you an answer. You do have a similar thing with Microsoft's Windows operating system, but it's nowhere as well made as Android. As far as applications, you do get way more apps on the Note 2. The Lumia 920 is, to me, it's lacking in a lot of popular apps like Pandora, Spotify, Instagram, and even a native Twitter and Facebook app, which I would love to see hopefully in the future. So application support, if you're a huge app junkie like me, you might not be happy with the Lumia 920, but if you're willing to wait and see what comes up in the future, I can see you love the Lumia 920. And because this is a Lumia made by Nokia, you get a ton of Nokia apps. So Nokia has Nokia Citylens, Drive, Maps, Music, Trailer, and Express that you can download from the market. So these are very comparable to Google Maps and Google Goggles. So Nokia apps are doing pretty good. I still think Google's services are a little bit better. But again, if you want to try something different, the Lumia is not a bad choice. Next, let's talk about cameras. Both have about 8 megapixel sensors. In my testing, the Lumia has a really good camera. Probably one of the best cameras on the market. Just going to go ahead and quickly show the camera. I'm just going to take a picture of like a pen. So here we have the Note 2. Of course, you can focus. Some options that you have is burst shot, which is really nice. A lot of effects that you can add with the Note 2, so you can see all these effects that you can do. You can change the resolution, so if you don't want to take the full 8 megapixel, you can drop it down if you like. Outdoor visibility, your shooting mode, so single shot burst, face detection, panorama, HDR, low light, smile shot, so just a lot of things you can do. The pictures come out really nice, and it's definitely not a bad camera. With just the Lumia, what it does with low light situation is really, really good. So you can go ahead and focus, take the picture, and it doesn't have as much options to customize your photo like the Galaxy Note 2, but it still gives you a pretty good amount that you can do, and you can also download third-party apps that will help you with this. What's nice about the Microsoft camera UI is something called lenses, so you can use other applications that use the camera to really customize your app, so you can use panorama, smart shoot, and more. But I'll go ahead and include samples of both photos, and I'll let you be the judge. Next, I want to talk about battery life. Battery life is very good on both devices. Just my rundown of tests, if they get me through the day, I'll give it good battery life. So both make it through a full day of use. Moderate to heavy, surprisingly, they both made it. The Galaxy Note 2 has slightly better. It lasts a bit longer thanks to its giant battery. It's also removable, so you can actually remove the battery. The Lumia 920 is completely sealed in, so you cannot remove the battery, just to let you know. As far as speaker, sound quality, earpieces on both devices are really good, very clear. Call quality is really nice. The speaker, I'll give it to the Note 2. It's much louder and clearer than the Lumia 920. And network speeds about the same. They're both on AT&T's 4G LTE network, so they both bringing enough data speeds are very good. So in the end, who's going to come out on top? My winner today is the Galaxy Note 2. The reason why I'm giving it to the Note 2 is because of Android. Android is a much more mature operating system compared to Windows Phone. More applications, better customization options, and with the Jelly Bean operating system, there's something called Project Butter. So it's just a very smooth operating system. Google services like Google Now, Google Maps, and a whole bunch more is far superior compared to Windows Phone. What I like about Windows Phone and the Lumia 920 is definitely the camera is really great. The color options that you get, as well as the screen is really nice. It's also not as big, so if you're worried about the size of the Note 2, the Lumia 920 fits a little bit nicer in the pocket. It's a little bit thicker, but I mean it's very comfortable to hold, and it feels like you have a premium device in your hand. As far as app selections, if you're not an app junkie like me, then you're going to like the Lumia 920 a lot. But my device to choose today is the Note 2. Thank you guys for watching this video, and we'll see you in the next one. Thanks.